The new EU-India trade deal has the potential to irreversibly change the face of Ireland, and nobody seems to be talking about it. The deal has a series of mobility clauses buried in it so that India can get rid of its excess young male population, which according to their official figures is around 50 million, and according to EU figures, it has an excess highly skilled population of around 245 million. This deal specifically targets an increase in immigration in skilled visas and student visas.
We will facilitate the movement of students, researchers, seasonal and highly skilled workers.
Now, considering this is an EU-wide deal covering 27 countries and the EU has 500 million people, you might be thinking that Ireland, being a small country on the periphery of Europe, we will only be marginally affected by this. Well, think again. Ireland is already the #1 destination for Indians in the EU by a country mile. In fact, the only country that takes in more Indians than Ireland is Germany, and their population is 15 times bigger than ours. Ireland is already taking in around 20,000 Indians every single year, and with this new deal promising to streamline that entire process, unless something is changed, and quickly, that number has the potential to explode. You see, Ireland is the only English-speaking country in the EU, and it has a rapidly growing Indian population who, by the way, aren't shy about going online and advertising to their co-ethnics how to get a visa in Ireland.
In today's video, we're talking about how to get yourself a job in Ireland as a foreigner.
Yes, you can apply for this island work permit without any visa sponsorship. Also, there is no labor market test required.
So one thing that's unique about Ireland and that doesn't exist in UK, Luxembourg or Netherlands is that you do not need any work visa sponsorship here. You can simply go ahead and apply for your own work visa as long as you get a job offer.
Also, thanks to its tax haven status, Ireland has the largest per capita tech sector in Europe. And remember those 245 million excess highly skilled workers I mentioned previously? Well, the most common skills they have are in the tech sector. In fact, if you read this EU-India migration promotion document released in 2020, they list the countries they would recommend immigration to and from. And wouldn't you know it, the very first country they recommend is Ireland. Ireland also has an easy path to citizenship. Once you arrive on a skilled visa, all you have to do is work a 40k per year job for 5 years and you can become a citizen. Seeing as India is already the biggest source of immigration to the country, and Ireland is getting more Indians per capita than any other country in Europe, then the easing of immigration restrictions between the EU and India is going to hit Ireland far, far harder than any other country in the EU. But still, nobody in the mainstream media is even talking about the impact this could have and how it could be a society-defining change. And then there's the students. The new deal will make it much easier for Indian students to study in Europe. And once again, Ireland is the most attractive option for Indian students. As I've already said, it's the only English-speaking country, but crucially, Ireland has a graduate visa that allows any graduate of any level A course or higher a work visa. So once you graduate, you can stay and work in the country. And of course, that massive tech sector will be the go-to source of employment. In fact, 40% of all employees in the IT sector in Ireland are foreigners. Ireland issued 60,000 student visas to non-EU students last year, and Indians were the largest recipients. Indians are already the biggest source of foreign students, making up over 20% of those in higher education. So what do you think is going to happen to those numbers once this deal is put in place and the whole process is streamlined, and there's an EU headquarters built in India whose sole purpose will be to facilitate Indians moving to Europe? Of course, they're going to massively increase. So to summarise, in Ireland, Indians are the #1 source of skilled visas, the #1 source of student visas, the #1 source of immigrants overall. Ireland takes in far more per capita than any other EU country, and the EU just signed, to quote them, the mother of all deals that will massively expand and simplify Indian immigration into the EU. And as far as I can see, almost nothing is being said about this impact in the media or in the halls of power in Ireland. Immigration and identity is already the defining issue of our time. Irish people are already more concerned about immigration than the majority of EU nations. Our homeland is being transformed before our very eyes. Almost a quarter of our population is foreign born. The central bank is telling us immigration drives down our wages, and we have a housing crisis that, according to our own government, is going to be a generational issue. Even with all of this in mind, our government is marching full steam ahead with the EU's plan to increase immigration to this small island. The new deal will pass through the European Parliament before year's end, and unless the Irish government makes some massive changes to our immigration system before then, This deal has the potential to move immigration from a crisis into a catastrophe.